So we have Friday the 13th Comic-Con exclusive Jason now. So the whole point of this figure, because NECA, this is not the first Jason figure they've made, but the whole point of this figure is to trigger some nostalgia. So if you haven't played Friday the 13th on Nintendo, and preferably when you were a kid when it came out, this figure probably isn't as exciting as it is for someone like me who did play the game, even though I hated it, frankly. Friday the 13th was a bitch. It was a real kick in the nuts, and it was from an era where even when all the games were really hard, this game was especially hard, and I didn't really like it because of that reason, so didn't really play much of it. Besides, I mean, if you come up with a Friday the 13th video game, you want to be Jason, you want to chop up campers, you don't want to be a camper running around a camp. Anyway, off topic. Here it is. So NECA made this one. This is half the story of this thing is just the packaging, to be honest. The Power Play series, it's made to look like a weathered NES box. And they've done pretty well. It looks like it's got some artificial shelfware here. The box is itself is brand new. It's very glossy and everything, but you can see all the wear that you see there is in the print. And they did a pretty good job on it. It is quite a bit larger than an NES box. Even if it was to scale, I believe it's going to end up a little fatter, a little bigger front to back than an NES box would, even if it were this size. So on the back here, let's take a look. You go ahead and pause that and read it if you care to. So there he is, just got a picture of some of his accessories: the glowing mask, the glowing weapons, the machete and the axe, and his hideous face. So here's the inside of the packaging. You and your friends are dead. That's more or less exactly what it looks like in the game. Well, more or less. You've got the health bar and some other little HUD items up there. Pretty cool. And there's Jason in the package. In the package, he looks pretty good. He's in one of the rooms that you would see inside of the game, inside the package. It's done pretty well. Like I say, the packaging is kind of like half the point of this figure to me. The color scheme in and of itself, maybe hardcore people would recognize it. The purple and the kind of weird green face and hands. I'll put a picture of Jason's sprite from the NES game here. So he's, I don't know, pretty close, and it's a very good homage, I think. So that being said, as far as his packaging goes, being that you could very easily not take this thing out of its package. I really wasn't going to. The only reason I'm going to is because I'm going to review it now, because I think he should be displayed in the packaging. But that being the case, it's funny that they put his machete off here to the side. You'd think they'd put it, I don't know, somewhere within view, like the axe, sort of. I don't know, I guess they figured that wasn't doable or something, but I would have appreciated being able to see all his accessories, since if I wanted to keep him in the package, I wouldn't have been able to do so and seen his accessories. Anywho, I'm going to open him up, take off his mask, and do all that good stuff. Okay, so here he is. One thing I noticed as soon as I took him out of this package is that his hands and feet and mask are actually a lot bluer than it looks inside the package, because they're translucent, and the blue mixes with the yellow background. They end up looking a little more green, but they're actually quite blue. So here he is. Nothing crazy about his sculpt. It's done well. His shirt is made out of kind of a soft rubber. So is the crotch piece of his pants, so that his legs can move out. and not be hindered by the mold. As far as articulation goes, he's got a ball-jointed head, although it's pretty restricted because of the mold. I think that they probably could have done a little better job with that. I don't know why it had to be so tight, but not a lot of range of movement out of his head, front or up and down. That's about it. And then his head realistically goes about that far. That's about as far as you need it to go. You can keep going around, I guess, in this direction. Looks like you probably could actually spin around 360, but that's not necessary. Who cares about that? He's got swivel hinge shoulders, so they swivel around 360 and then are hinged here. They'll go up to about maybe just past 90 degrees. He's got a swivel hinge elbow. It's a very NECA type of articulation for him, which is sufficient. He's got a ball jointed, it feels like abdomen, maybe just about where his belly button would be is where that hinge is, and you get a little bit of a movement out of him in all directions with that, but just a little. And then he's got feels like that same swivel hinge type of leg. No rotation on his thighs. They won't turn this way. If they will, mine's stuck, but I don't think they do. Oh, no, mine are stuck, and they will swivel that way. So, there they go. Same with his knees, swivel hinge. And then his feet feel like they're just left and right. They won't really pitch forward or up or down or tilt. There's no ankle tilt, which is too bad. And then his hands, looks like a ball joint for his hands, and his wrist, I should say. So you can see his hands, oh, hello, are blue, and they also colored in his arm, so you can see inside the sleeve there that his arm inside the sleeve is also glow-in-the-dark and blue. It's pretty cool. It just occurred to me that I need to shoot at least some part of this review when it completely gets dark so that I can have him glow on camera. So, well, this one will be not up for a few hours, I guess. Anyway, here's his mask. Mask was kind of hard to take off at first. It felt like it was a little stuck, but once I popped it off, none of the paint or anything like that came with it. I don't know that he's actually painted. I would hope that they sculpted this all out of the same purple plastic. It doesn't look painted, but it's hard to say. He looks painted, but I don't know. The texture of his face looks like he's been painted, but it's not even really necessary when you've only got two colors you're working with. But there's the mask, and let's go ahead and put his mask back on. Really makes all the difference. Otherwise, he's just some ugly dude. There's his axe, his machete. Machete is just a regular non-colored glow-in-the-dark. It's basically white translucent plastic, same with the head of the axe. It's got a little colored brown handle. It's got some, I forget what you call that, posts or whatever they are in the hilt of the handle. Might as well show it off. It does not want to focus on this thing. Man, come on now. There we go. And the axe, nothing to it. I thought maybe I spied some wood grain in the handle, but no. It's just brown. That's about it. So, there he is. I'm going to wait until tonight to continue this review, and we'll see what he looks like when he's glowing. Alright. Okay. Cool. And as you can see, my camera's not nearly powerful enough to catch how faint this thing glows. Yeah, you really can't tell at all, unfortunately. So, you know, it does glow. I can see it in person, but it doesn't look like it's showing up. So, that being said, oh shit, Jason, there's a battery behind you. Um, these knives, though I should say, his machete and his axe both glow green, and his hands and feet and mask glow blue. Has to be completely dark in the room for you to see it, and even then, it doesn't seem like it's very bright, which is unfortunate, but understandable. I wasn't really expecting much out of it, to be honest. Translucent, fairly thin, it's like his mask. Pieces of glow-in-the-dark plastic never seems to be very bright to begin with. So, that's about it for Jason, all in all. I'm happy with this figure. I think that this is I didn't buy the NECA Jason figure when it came out before. Not really my genre. I'm not that into horror. Or they're cool, but I don't know. They just don't really, not my bag. But this version was a must get for me, and the packaging and the homage to the original game does more than enough to tilt the scale. So that I want to get it. He's not terribly posable. There's not really a lot of poses you're going to get him into that you'd actually want to see him in. But for the most part, I think he's a pretty good figure. Let's see, maybe give him the machete. Might look better over his head like that. Well, his hand tends to fall off a little easy. A couple of ball joints, looks like. He's not terribly dynamic, but that's Jason for you. He's not terribly dynamic as it is in the movies, so it's about as good as it's going to get, though, as far as this figure goes. I'm having trouble sanding him now. There we go. Yeah, that's. I think that's about as good as it's going to get, at least for me. So there he is. I think I'll probably do some Deadpool stuff next. Maybe the Deadpool's Assemble Mini Mates. That'll be a relatively fast one to do. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and leave some comments. Let me know what you think.